Have you ever been hurt by someone who denies it ever happened? My name is Tabitha Christopher of TabithaChristopher.com. My company founded the Mind Style Makeover Bootcamp, also known as MSMBC. It is a character and resilience building training program that provides students in college, high school, and middle school with a roadmap to succeed academically, athletically, socially, and emotionally. My company also founded the Enrich Executive Women's Retreat, a bespoke Christ centered, high ticket experience crafted exclusively for women, leaders, innovators, and visionaries who seek profound transformation and find it at the Executive Women's Retreat. Trailblazer, you read the title. Over on Instagram, it reads, "They lied to your face." Over here on YouTube, it's like, "Have you ever been hurt by someone who denies it ever happened?" Now, I know that this maybe have happened more than once to you. Maybe you've been in a relationship, whether it was with a family member, parent child relationship, whether it was an ex best friend, or maybe it was just someone in authority that took advantage of their position over you. And then you've reached a crossroad where you're like, I want to talk about this. And I want to face and confront the person who caused me hurt. And you go forward to have that conversation with this individual. And as you pour out what took place and you become vulnerable and you share your heart, and they return back to you a stone cold glare of denial of everything of what you're claiming happened. Trailblazer, I will be the first to tell you, or the second, third, or maybe the 100th to tell you that that bites. That bites after you have worked yourself up to be able to have this very important conversation, to have it just tossed off to the side as if it holds no meaning or value. Now, this conversation that we're going to have today with the Mind Style Makeover Monday, this question of what do you do if you've ever been hurt by someone who denies it ever happened? What do you do? This is a question that came up at my last Own Your Story, Prioritize Your Well-Being training that took place in Pensacola, Florida, just this past Friday at the SCI building downtown. And this was a question that came up, and this is a question that comes up quite often anytime I get to do this training. And I'm going to provide you with 3 things of what to do when this happens, so you are able to reclaim your power and own your story once you walk away from that conversation. Now, one of the things that I want to bring to the forefront, that when this happens, when you confront the person who has caused you hurt and they deny it, it is very tempting to shift into defense mode if you weren't already there to begin with, prepping yourself for what you may think is the inevitable because you may know this person quite well, right? And you're like, okay, I know they may say this, they may say that. So you're already prepping yourself if this goes in a direction that you were not hoping for, right? But for them to deny all wrongdoing, it just increases that temptation to become defensive and protect yourself, as it is deeply hurtful to not be believed for what pain you suffered. I'm going to jump right into it with the 3 things of what to do to reclaim your power and own your story. This is going to be a short talk, but it's just going to get straight to the meat of it. Number 1, identity is extremely important in this conversation piece. It is essential for you to have a clear understanding that your identity isn't rooted in what happened to you. Your identity isn't rooted in what this person who hurt you thinks you are. Your identity is not rooted in the meaning of what this person did to you. That's number one, is to make sure that you have clear knowing that your worth and value isn't tied to that hurtful event that took place, regardless of who caused that pain. Whether it's your mom, whether it's your dad, whether it's an aunt, uncle, cousin, blood relative, non blood relative, a friend, co-worker, whomever. All right, your identity, your worth and value isn't tied to that hurtful event. Number one. Number two is, before you approach this person, please, trailblazer, my friend, please have clear intentions of why you decided to forgive this individual. If you are making the decision to forgive because you are basing it on their response to you, meaning they admit they're wrong and they want to reconcile everything so that things can, start over fresh or whatever the case may be. If you're going in with that intentions, you're already trying to predetermine how they need to respond to you. I'm letting you know right now, it is not going to work. It, it would be nice if they want to reconcile. It would be nice if they would be willing to admit their wrongs. That would be nice if they want to, say, I'm sorry for all that I did. I didn't realize that it caused you such pain. That would be amazing. Trailblazer, I just want to give you clear expectations. Oftentimes when you're getting ready to reclaim your power and own your story in facing an individual or people who have caused you pain, whether it was intentional, typically, especially with those that do it intentionally, and it's intentional. Typically, those individuals, they are going through so much stuff themselves, they're not even able to see clearly what they're doing, why they're doing it, and it doesn't. Things are not lying. Things are not firing off very well within themselves. So to expect for them to be able to show up in a healthy way to want to empower and fix and heal what broke between you and them, it's a pretty high expectation to have that I want to just give you a heads up. Oftentimes it doesn't work out that way, most oftentimes. So number two is to have clear intentions of why you decided to forgive. And the whole purpose of making the decision to forgive is so that you can reclaim your power, so that that individual is no longer able to own you. So that whenever you think of that person, your whole entire physical being, mental, everything doesn't go haywire every time you think of that person. That's when you know someone owns you. They literally could just sign their name to the bottom of your life because they are able to control your emotions. Anytime you think of them, see them, remember what took place, and you go into this zone that is unhealthy, right? That is detrimental to your own well-being, right? So number two, again, have clear intentions of why you decided to forgive, to reclaim, and the reason of it is to reclaim your power and own your story. The third thing of what to do. The third thing of what to do when you walk into a situation where you've been hurt by someone and they deny it ever happened. The third thing of what to do after you have confronted and they said, oh, well, you know what? I don't know what you're talking about. What you're saying, it never happened. Trailblazer, you don't need to argue with them. You can go ahead right then and there and celebrate your growth with words of thanksgiving and declaration that you now own your story and you've reclaimed your power. And you do that by not arguing with them. Mm-mm. No, you say, hey, I am coming to state this situation that happened. This is how I remember it happening. It was hurtful to me, and I've carried it for, if you want to share how long it's been, and I no longer am going to carry this. I want to let you know that I forgive you for what you have done to me, and whether you choose to admit you're wrong or not, none of my business. I am forgiving you because I've been forgiven. And I know that sometime in the future, probably soon, I'm going to need grace. I'm going to need forgiveness. And I just want to start my healing journey on Own My Story. All right. Hey, Erica. So, those are the three things of what you do. When you're faced with a situation where someone has hurt you and you want to confront the situation, and you do, and they deny that it ever happened. If you're just coming in at the tail end of it, I would encourage you to watch this from the beginning. This is a short Mind Style Makeover Monday chat where we're getting right into the meat, right into the heart of it. What happens when someone lies straight to your face and denies ever doing any wrongdoing to you? Watch it again for those three powerful things of what to do to reclaim your power and own your story. My name is Tabitha Christopher of TabithaChristopher.com. Coming up in the spring, we're having our first Enrich Executive Women's Retreat, a bespoke, Christ-centered, high-ticket experience for women leaders, innovators, and visionaries who desire profound transformation and find it at the Enrich Executive Women's Retreat. God bless you all really, really good. And I look forward to chatting with you all later on this week. Remember, you're only one mind style makeover away from owning your story.